Hey backers, we have a lot to talk about, and the first thing on the agenda is the current status of the internal spring. Alright, so here we have the original design. This is a leaf spring in there, and it pushes up against a pin within the body of the two linkages, and that's how the hammers are forced apart. But one thing I don't like is that there's material removed from the linkages, right? Here's how that looks. Now it's not going to interfere with the function. As you can see, it still is able to lift a lot of weight, but you know, in my preference for design, the simpler the better, and also the less removal of material the better. So if we can eliminate that hole, that'd be ideal. So here's what I came up with. Here is the current design that I'm looking at. This is a coil spring. This one's handmade by me. We would have them professionally made, right? This one only takes about 2 pounds of force to separate the hammers, which is plenty. And what I originally thought is I was going to put a pin, right, with E-clips, and then that was going to be the point at which it pushed against. But here's the cool thing with this design. Now there's the spring. You can see the spring right here. And when I close it, it retracts. But if I get the length of the spring just right, I can remove this clip, and when I put the hammer in, the spring pushes up against the very bottom portion of the hammer right there. Alright, so let's talk about how strong this thing possibly is. Now I'm limited on the type of facility that's available to me to test the strength out on this thing, and so I have to go out into the field and try to lift some heavy objects. I was lucky enough to have Stewart and Sundell Concrete help me out, and they allowed me to pick up some random things throughout their yard. One was a loader tire. As you can see, the XL is picking it up, no problem. And then there was also this 55-gallon bucket of concrete. Now, because of how this is designed, it's strongest when it's pulled in line with the part, right there. It's going to be weakest when you pull on it on the edge, right here, especially at the crosspiece, because it's trying to bend this whole thing over. Now, is it going to hold about 320 pounds? Yeah, it'll hold that, but it's not going to hold 1,000 pounds, as you can see. Watch out, it should fail. The crosspiece was ripped right out, and it bent the jaws wide open. Kind of brings a tear to my eye. But you know what? That gets me thinking. Maybe I can create a grappling hook that lines the parts up the same way on all 4 sides. That way you have the tensile strength to take advantage of. We'll see how that goes. So one of you asked if the XL can be used as a kayak anchor, and so here's the setup I came up with. Take the end of your rope and tie it into a knot, and you're going to place it right in between the 2 hammers, just like that. And then we're going to take our crosspiece, place it in, secure it with our pin. Now along the rope we have an improvised yank apart. I don't even know what I'm going to call it, but I have it on a shackle here, and here we have a heavy-duty magnet. So this goes together, and the idea is when we pull with enough force, it's going to pop apart, and then we'll be able to yank it from this side to pull it free.